It's interesting that you say that because I feel like some people might be afraid or scared of taking a chance, and I think it's almost maybe taking a chance on themselves, right? Like, you've never really, you hadn't looked into being a cop too much since then. You hadn't studied for this test, and then you get this opportunity where somebody's like, "Hey, this might work out," and your immediate reaction is, "Hey, sure, I'll give it a shot. I don't have anything to lose." But I feel like so many people just will say, "Oh yeah, I'll consider it," but then something, I don't know what it is, to be honest, that it just kind of sits there and they never give it a shot. It's almost like, I don't know. I don't know if it's society. I don't know if it's a society thing. I don't know if it's a school thing, but I just feel like we kind of frown upon people trying new things. It's really weird.
Well, and I think the key is there that so many people are afraid of failing, and so what? I mean, I went, I took that test. I didn't study for it. Just winged it, and it was fine. I did very well on it, and but the reality was, let's say I had gone up there and I had failed the test. What's the loss? Because even when you fail, yeah, and certainly I've had failures and I've had things that didn't work out, but you learn from it. And you certainly know what not to do next time, which is more information than you had before you did it.
Right.
So why wouldn't you do it? I mean, to me, that's even when I started my company, man, I mean, I made so many mistakes along the way, but every time I made a mistake, I said, okay, I know not to do that again next time. Um, and it was a never-ending learning process. But you have to take that information, you have to process it. But to me, don't be afraid to fail. When you fail, you're one step closer to succeeding. I mean, that's that you pick it. You say, now I have more knowledge now. The failure gave me knowledge. And that means I'm going to be that much closer to succeeding the next time I try that thing. You look at science. I mean, we've learned more from failures and accidents than we ever do from successes in science. So same thing applies to life. And I do think the problem is that way too many people are afraid of that failure. And to me, bring it on. you know, it's okay.
Yeah,
You
and I
know.
think it's something about when you're growing up, you almost like don't want to be ashamed. And I was just kind of mentioning that there's been several books that I've read that just make it a point to mention that you really do learn more from failing than from succeeding. I had a professor in college once where he had us working on a circuit, and man, everyone in that class was struggling because he didn't necessarily give you the steps to figuring out the voltage, I think, to whatever circuit we were working on. And at some point, I think some kid was just like, "Can you just give me a hint? Can you give me like the answer or something?" And the professor just simply said, "You're gonna remember how you fixed this through the struggle. If I just told you, you would forget it."
Yeah, yeah. I've heard that many a time, and it's true. I mean, pain has a way of adding to memorization. you know? um,
Yeah,
but
I think in life you almost gotta learn to love going through those growing pains because that's what they are at the end of the day.
well, it's funny. I always say to my wife Stacy, I said, I only learn the hard way, but I do learn.
That's
So,
the important thing. I think that don't fail and don't and not take anything away from it. If you're gonna try something and let's say you do fail, make sure that you come out with some experience out of it.
right. I mean, so many people allow the failure to define them, and they are devastated by whatever the failure was. And the way to look at it more is, um, okay, what do I know now that I didn't know before? How would I do it differently the next time I have the opportunity to do this same thing? Or sometimes you learn it's not your thing, and that's okay too. Um, but I think you have to be careful to to saying, well, it's not my thing because you just don't want to go through the possible pain of failing again.